Tonight on the 31 Nights of Halloween Horror, there's a killer on the prowl. But you don't have to worry about that. That is, unless you're pregnant. Tonight's movie, 5 Women for the Killer.
Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of the 31 Nights of Halloween Horror. Triskaidekaphilia. Yes, Triskaidekaphilia. I'd like to Triskaidekaphilia all. That was weird. Anyways, come on. You know the madness has taken me. Every year it's the same way. Well, about this time during the marathon, it's just nutsoids. Anyways, oh god. Tonight we are going to the Giallo realm again to review a little Giallo known as 5 Women for the Killer. Yes, 5 women. Oh, look at that shock scream face. So what is 5 Women for the Killer about? Well, it is about a man who is returning from a business trip, and his wife is at home pregnant, and she's kind of a risk pregnancy, and she's going into premature labor. So he is rushing home with the doctor, very worried, gets home, hears the cries of the newborn child, and unfortunately his wife is no more. Devastated, his child now in intensive care at the hospital, he finds a rather sloppily placed file that's about him where he discovers that he is infertile. Yes, he's infertile, which means the child is not his. And of course, this devastates the man, and then just goes through a whole emotional roller coaster of anger and betrayal, and just sort of blankly stares at the child now. So one night, as he goes to the hospital to visit the child, he sees a nurse almost get run over by a car, goes to help her out, and ends up taking her home, and she tries to seduce him, but he, still in the midst of trauma, is having a problem with it. And of course she goes, well, I'm having problems too. I just found out that I'm pregnant. Boom. Dead body. Bloodied. Mutilated womb. And a kind of an Ankh symbol carved near her breasts. And of course, a bunch of other pregnant women start getting killed with the same MO, and one starts to think, is our father, our main character, acting out his vengeance upon pregnant women, or is it something else going on? Well, anyways, you'd have to find out by watching. Anyways, so let's get to the score, shall we? Violence and gore, I am going to give this a 1 out of 5. Simply because all the deaths except one happen off screen. In fact, the one that I'm talking about, you don't really get to see her die. You just get to see her cut a couple times. So it's a little bloody, but otherwise, post-mortem death scenes, unless they are packing the gore, which they are not, it's just going to be a 1 out of 5, sorry. So 1 out of 5. Moving on to shock value. Shock value is a 2 out of 5. There's a couple jumps in there, but for the most part, the shock is supposed to be the twist ending, which honestly I saw coming because they telegraphed it. They made it so freaking obvious, especially at one point. But anyways, 2 out of 5 plot. So this is going to be the thing. Even though they made it somewhat obvious, they did a little curveball in there into this sort of murder mystery that's going on, which I enjoyed quite a bit. Plus, up to the point where they kind of made it obvious, you still kind of question what was going on and who is it going to be. And so the red herring palooza definitely was working. So I'm going to give this a 4 out of 5. I really like the ending. I really like the fact that they decided that little narrative in there And I enjoyed how that worked out. And for me, that elevated everything in this movie. So 4 out of 5 for the plot. Moving on to acting, 3 out of 5. I think they did a pretty good job all around. Yes, you had some a bit of the hamminess, the little melodramatic acting here and there, but I've kind of become immune to it. In fact, I kind of expect it and want it in these type of movies. So if they don't have it, I get put off. It's weird. So anyways, I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5. Moving on to Nudity, and Nudity is going to be a 4 out of 5. There are just some girls who are just getting naked in this movie. And they have no qualms about it. And one in particular for quite a period of time. So it's definitely a quantity of boobs and butts and something else that starts with B that I'm just not going to say anyways. Anyways, so 4 out of 5. Moving on to enjoyment factor, and of course this is going to be a 4 out of 5. It's a Giallo that has an interesting plot with a nice twist in there, even though I figured out part of it. It was really satisfying. There was some great use of color in this, and sometimes the non-Argento Giallos out there, the non-Bava stuff, can be a little bland in the color department sometimes, and this one definitely had some nice use of color and shadow, which I really appreciated. I would have loved to have more blood on the screens, seeing the murders happening, probably gonna be more my want for this movie. Probably would have elevated it even higher, but the fact that it's interesting, has some good characters, copious amounts of boobies, it's right in the ballpark. So 4 out of 5 for that. And my overall impression is a 3.5 out of 5. Like I said, it's the Giallo is pretty well made. So the interesting plot and the good cinematography, use of colors, I think this is one of those Giallos out there that is definitely in the good to great range. And so 3.5 out of 5, I think, is a very, very appropriate score for this movie. And that averages out to a 3.1 out of 5, feasting on some of those bonus points there. So there you have it. 5 women for the killer. 5 women for the killer. What did you think about that movie? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Leave a comment in the comment section below. Don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe, like, bell, notification, blada, yada, duba, zuba, zubla blee, blah, 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 yada, 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 whatever the YouTube thing, whatever. Check out my Twitter, also on my mom's channel for some uncensored videos out there. Anyways, oh my goodness. And thank you again for watching another episode of The 31 Nights of Halloween Horror. And remember, Internet, to stay scary. And also, if you're going to fake being attacked, and you're going to say, I don't know, they're going to jump out the window, and your window has like 3 potted plants in there, and they're not even talking about small potted, they are taking up a lot of space. Knock that shit out. Knock that shit over. My God, people, come on. It's fucking obvious that either their non-corporeal existence just passed through the window and those potted plants, or you're, like, lying. You're just fucking lying. You know what? And then kind of, of course in a horror movie, the non-corporeal thing is totally feasible. But let's face it, man. Yeah, you are, I don't care what level of elite Olympic gymnastic a mastery you have obtained. If you're flying out a window with those plants in the way, there's no way you're not knocking down at least 2, if not all of them. Anyways, that's it.